So I no longer casually sleep with people. And I want to discuss this here because every time I bring this topic up to my friends and discuss my opinions, everyone seems to have a variety of different opinions about it. And for me personally, I feel like hookup culture has become very toxic and can be pretty hurtful to a lot of people. And
in other words, guys, she cannot secure the commitment that she wants from Chad. Okay, that's all that this is, guys. When women start to complain as they go into their 30s and they say, you know what, I'm done with the casual dating, I'm done with the hookup culture. Really, all that is, guys, is them going, you know what, I have a necessity now, so now I'm going to try and paint it as though I'm suddenly becoming a good person who's considerate of others' feelings. That's just not how it works, guys. A lot of these women, gentlemen, it only becomes an issue when they can't get the commitment that they want.
And I guess I'm just going to kind of explain why I've made the decisions that I've made and why I feel the way that I do. If you're in my family, skip this video, please. Disclaimer, I am not telling anyone how you should live your life. I'm not telling anyone that the way that you do things is wrong. I'm not trying to like slut shame anyone. I'm not trying to anything like that. I'm just going to explain the decisions that I have made for myself. And it's really not that deep.
You gotta love, guys, how in the year 2021, right, everybody has to put disclaimers on videos like this, because let me just say, right, if she came out here and she made a video like this and she was saying, you know what, hookup culture is bad, I'm done with hookup culture, and here's why you should be too, all the women would be up in arms saying, you don't get to tell me what to do with my body. Right, all this kind of crap, gentlemen, where we live in a society at the moment where it is currently bad to judge girls for any of the terrible actions that they may do. Right, so what, she's talking to 4 guys at once. So what, she's talking to that old high school fling when she's in a marriage, guys. If you judge her, you're a bad person. And you see all these disclaimers on these videos, guys, talking about hookup culture and stuff like that, because in 2021, guys, it's literally forbidden to criticize women.
Okay, so I used to participate in casual hookup culture, and I felt like it was detrimental to my mental and sometimes physical health.
And yet you still did it for how many years? Okay, guys, like you can't be believing all of this moral, this moral stuff that seems to come out of nowhere. You see, all this talk of morals, guys, and, oh, my health and all this kind of crap, really it comes down to attention, right? When the attention starts to dry up, when she can't get the quality of man that she wants, now all of this stuff becomes an issue. Now that she's realized, now I've got to become more of a quote-unquote virtuous individual, and I've got to at least appear like I haven't hooked up with dudes for the past, 10 plus years of my life. Okay, guys, like it's so ridiculous how all this morals and, getting right with God and all this kind of stuff only seems to come up, guys, out of necessity for women, right?
And I just decided that basically I'd had enough of that. And I decided that I was not going to sleep with people anymore unless we were pretty much dating.
Pretty much dating. I'm not gonna get with you in a bedroom sense unless we're dating, unless we're exclusive, or in her words, pretty much dating, whatever the hell that means, right? So guys, let me just paint a picture for you here. This woman right here has engaged in hookup culture, lots of casual bedroom fun. And now she's turning around and saying, you know what, for the new men that enter my life, we have a different set of rules. He has to pay for dates. He has to put up with the fact that I withhold bedroom fun from him now because I'm a changed woman, guys. Right? All of these people changing, and it's all about my health. It's all about this and that and all these positive aspects and stuff like that. No, it's just a necessity for you. And guys, let's just, before we even continue the video here, okay, the reason why all this kind of stuff occurs, gentlemen, it make no mistake, it is out of necessity. Okay, a lot of these girls, if they continue going on the path that they were going with the hookup culture and stuff like that, they're not going to get commitment from that 6-figure guy that they're actually attracted to, right? So a lot of them, quote unquote, settle. They get with dudes who are stable, and then they run them through the divorce courts.
And by the way, this is my perspective from having heterosexual relationships. I personally feel as though men respect women differently once they have slept with them. And in my experience, I began to feel just disrespected by every single guy that I ever slept with. I always would.
What do you mean began to feel? Right? It's like, guys, these girls will literally do this kind of stuff for years, and then they're like, you know what? I felt disrespected. Yeah, no crap, you were disrespected. You were disrespected the entire time, but the thing is, you didn't care, right? You put up with it because you hoped that, hey, if you just continued to push through, maybe you'd get a relationship from that guy that you want. Right? You see, like, guys, all of this is just really fluff, where you'll notice that all of this, like, positive stuff and all this BS about being a good person, guys, if you really start to pick it apart, it actually makes no sense whatsoever.
Would feel like as soon as I, like, you know, gave it up to a guy, I would just be, like, trashed to the side. Like, I was, like, disposable, and it was really affecting my mental health and, like, making my self-confidence a lot worse. And as I've got,
and it's love how she bases her, you know, her self-confidence, her self-worth off of what other people think, by the way. But let's just talk about that for a second, okay? Guys don't respect you because you don't respect yourself, right? If you're out here and you're getting with all of these different guys, why should dudes take you seriously? Right? Girls want to get so confused where they're like, you know what? Why don't dudes take me out on dates? Why don't dudes do all of these things for me? And it's because the last 10 guys, the double-digit men who have been with you, they haven't had to do anything. You just rock up at their house, right? Why would men go out here and pay full price to date you when they could simply not do that? And when the guy who before them hasn't had to pay a damn thing. You see, now you want the relationship, right? Now you want the commitment. And pretty soon you'll be talking about marriage and whatever else the case may be. But you see, now the difference is that you don't want to get with it. You don't want to have bedroom fun with a guy now, right? It's like, guys, they want to have their cake and eat it too. You see what I'm saying? And this is where we start to talk about how women date significantly different to men, guys, where they will date opportunistically. Right? Absolutely. No questions asked, guys. They will date opportunistically. This is why, gentlemen, you don't lead with money. Okay. You don't, you know, if you've got a flashy car or whatever the case may be, that should be totally secondary. But this is why you don't lead with money, guys, because women will split their dating strategy in such a way that they'll go, oh, you know what? Now I'm right with God, or now I'm, you know, now I'm someone to be respected after these 20 years of making these terrible decisions, and now you should take me seriously. And all of a sudden, you know, it's the guy with the rich guy who's been working his entire life, and he's going to be at the brunt of this, you know, he's going to get raked over the coals, as they say, in the divorce courts, which, by the way, is totally legal for these women to do.
Gotten older, I began to value myself more than just being like a one-night stand or a casual hookup for a guy. I personally think that I am of higher value than that.
Except you're not, because you weren't. Right? That, and I don't say that to be rude or awful, guys. It's like, you know, you can sit there and you can think that you're, man, I'm so sick of hearing this term, right? Higher value. I'm so sick of hearing that term, right? It's like, you're not. Okay, you know what I mean? And we're going to play that last bit one more time, because that was another comment I wanted to make on that, guys. But this is just some clown world BS.
For a guy, I personally...
Yeah, right there. The comment that she made, right? She said that she didn't want to feel like just another thing for a guy. Let's listen to that.
Being like a one-night stand or a casual hookup for a guy.
Yeah, see, and also they're positioning it as though they're not doing it for themselves. Oh, right. We're engaging in hookup culture so innocently. It's not our decision. We're just innocent. We're out here looking for boyfriends. No, you're not. Right? You're out here having fun too. And they want to position it as though, you know what? I was out here doing this casual dating, this casual hookups, and what I realized was that it was all for men. No, you did a lot of that for yourself. Okay, let's just call it for what it is. It didn't have to do, you know, it was for you. You could have chosen not to do that. Right? You absolutely, you had that choice on the table the entire damn time. Okay, but see, what girls want to do, guys, is they want to just absolve themselves of all of the responsibility and the decisions that they make, and say, you know what? Despite the fact that I've made these decisions for years at a time, I did it, you know, and what I realized was it was all for men. It was never for me. No, it was for you. Okay, you just won't admit it, but yeah, it was 100% for you.
I personally think that I am of higher value than that. And I just personally don't feel comfortable giving that part of myself to someone who has no intention of committing to me in any way.
Guys, you really can't make this crap up, can you? Right? And you have no intention of doing that now, apparently, right? But the years gone by, oh, you had plenty of intention of doing that, right? But now you start to get older, right? You get into your late 20s, and now you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, you know, life isn't probably going to stack up the way that I want if I don't start to look at having a family soon, if they want to have a family, which a lot of girls do, right? Or they start to realize, you know what, I don't want to work this 9-to-5 barista job anymore. I want a guy to take care of me. And so then they start looking seriously at marriage, and now all of a sudden these things like self-respect come into play, right? See, self-respect, guys, for these girls, it's situational, right? It's not something that exists because it's supposed to exist, guys. It's literally situational. Right?
And I feel like being with men who don't recognize that value in me decreases my value. Like, it shows that I'm willing to settle, and I'm not. Like, you can't go to a luxury car dealership and test drive a car that you have no intention of buying and can't even afford. Does that make sense? I don't know. Tell me what you think.
First of all, you're not a luxury car. Second of all, by the same analogy, if you were using a regular car dealership, okay, plenty of guys have done that. You know, in your own words, right? You used to go out here, used to engage in casual hookup culture. Okay, so by your own analogy, that's exactly what was happening for many years. This is not something, guys, like this video that she made right here, it's not as if she did it once and then she learned a lesson, right? It's not as if she did it for a week and then she learned a lesson. No, guys, this is something that happens for years, okay? And then as women get into their, you know, typically their later 20s, that's when they start to realize that this stuff is on the horizon. Now, a lot of girls realize this earlier on, particularly if they're not attractive or whatever the case may be. And they'll come to these sort of conclusions much earlier on, guys. But these videos are just absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to be covering a few more on today's show, guys, about women who are sick of hookup culture, right? As if they have no choice in the matter. But what is going on, gentlemen? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, like I said, we're going to be going through some TikToks talking about hookup culture because, you know what, guys? The ladies are mad, right? And I use the word ladies loosely, all right? But they are frustrated. Okay, they are angry that hookup culture is something that they have to deal with, guys, as if, again, they have no input into this actually occurring, guys. You know, don't let girls fool you. Before we continue, gentlemen, it takes two to tango. Okay, like these girls who they will always play this like absolute innocent card, guys, and talk about how, you know, oh, it's just the mean man, right? Just pressuring us into these decisions. Let me tell you something, guys. When girls go on hookup culture, when they go out and see these dudes, they're the ones getting into cars at 2 a.m., right? They're the ones that are driving to random dudes' houses and stuff like that. And let me tell you something, guys. It's not to play with Legos. Right? They're not going out here. See, the justification as well that a lot of these girls use, right, before we continue with the video here, guys, is they'll make up stuff, or the dude will make up something so that the girl can believe that she didn't actually do that, right? She can tell herself that she did something differently, right? So, oh, we're going to go back to my house and we're going to look at the view. It's like, really? You two are going to go back to your house and look at the view, and we're supposed to expect that, you know, you weren't out here deliberately going to see this dude and have bedroom fun with him. It's like, get out of here, man. But let's take a look at this video right here. And once again, guys, I do feel the strong need to apologize before we jump into this one. You all know how much I hate apologizing, but listen, this is, it must be done. So let's jump into this and, yeah.
As a woman, hookup culture is something that I really struggle with, and let me tell you why. I consider myself to be very sex positive. I would never judge women who want to hook up with other people. I hate the idea of body count. I think it's all so stupid. And I do hook up with people sometimes, and sometimes...
Let's pause it there. Okay, so we got a woman here who is, you know, non-judgmental, and by extension, who I imagine advocates for non-judgment, people to engage in non-judgment. Right? You see, this, if you listen to this kind of crap, guys, this will send you down such a bad path where you're like, oh, you know what? So what? My girl has triple-digit body count. I'm just going to sit in this relationship and everything's going to go fine. No, it isn't. I've made this point so many times on the channel, guys, but girls want to pass it off as if body count doesn't mean anything. It is a fantastic metric of this woman's relationships. Right? If a girl's out here and she's, you know, been with 39 dudes, It's like there's not going to be a lucky number 40, guys. You know what I mean? You could extend that woman's lifetime, right? You could add a few zeros to it, gentlemen, and the number's just going to keep going up and up, right? Because there's no such thing as consistency, stability, loyalty there. None of those things exist, guys. It's the new shiny object syndrome.
Sometimes I do find it empowering and fun, and I enjoy it. But something that I have found is that even when I try to push this idea away, I feel like there's always this subconscious thought that just comes into my head that comes from hookup culture, which is the idea that I'm just a body for men.
And again, right, we come back to this victim narrative, okay, where we say that, you know what? Oh, I'm getting used by dudes. Dudes are using me. Right? It's like, it takes two to tango. Are you telling me that you're getting nothing out of these experiences? Right? Those guys who are 6 foot, who are attractive, who are, quite honestly, let's just cut the BS, guys. The men who are out of these women's leagues, you're telling me that you're hooking up with them on the weekends at 2 a.m., right? Because, and you're just being used. No. See, you want to do that, right? And because you don't have to do that, and yet you still do. Right? And don't give me that crap of, oh, I'm trying to get him to like me. It's like, guys, you know, don't let the women absolve themselves of the decisions that they make, like the consequences to the decisions that they make, right? It's like, man, that's just ridiculous. We're going to play that last bit back one more time.
That comes from hookup culture, which is the idea that I'm just a body for men. This might be
Yeah, and of course that wouldn't go both ways at all. Right, because you're just, excuse me guys if you can hear my phone there, you're just totally perfect, right? And you only make these decisions because you're totally selfless, right? It's like, if you listen to these women, gentlemen, they'll just paint like the best picture of themselves, where they'll say, you know what, I make all of these decisions purely out of altruism, and you know what, I get used for them. It's like, no, you were doing it because of your own selfish needs as well. Okay, let's not, you know, yeah.
a hot take, but I feel like for a lot of women, even if you are a sexually empowered woman and you're super sex positive, I feel like hookup culture can still give you this inner monologue, no matter how badly you try to avoid it, that you end up feeling like you're not the girl guys want to date, you're just the girl guys want to hook up with.
I mean, why wouldn't you have that thought if it's true? Right? Like, if you're out here seeing a whole bunch of dudes and none of them want to commit to you, that thought that is in your mind, maybe it's true. Right? Maybe you should consider the fact that dudes don't want to commit to you, especially the guys who are earning 6 foot and who are 6 figures, right? Because what you'll see, gentlemen, is you'll see a lot of these girls, right? They'll go out here and they can get the attention from the dude who's that successful or that attractive, but you know, that doesn't mean that he wants a relationship with you, right? Like, women, they'll sell this lie to each other as well. They'll be like, you know what, guys, they'll sit there and they'll sell lies to each other so fantastically, guys, and you can thank womanism for that as well, as a huge component of that. But yeah, maybe dudes don't want to commit to you. Maybe that quote unquote little thought in your subconscious mind, maybe you should stop repressing it and actually listening to it, right? Because that's the thing that'll keep you single when you're 45. Okay, this idea that, you know what, I deserve better no matter what, and you know what, dudes do want to commit to me, so what, no guy has committed to me yet. You know, that little thought right there is actually pretty significant, and maybe it's actually true that men don't necessarily want to commit to you.
And again, I'm not anti-hookup culture at all, but just something that I think about a lot. As a woman...
Yeah, and that's the end of the video right there before we continue on to the next one, guys. And just, you know, notice at the end, guys, once again, having to say that you're not against it, of course, because anything that goes against girls' ability to do whatever the hell they want in the dating market is somehow seen as a terrible thing, right? Judgment, guys, is like, judgment is being pushed out of society, where you as a man in 2021, if you judge anyone for any decisions that they make, good or bad, it's like, you can't say a damn thing, right? You're just supposed to go along with whatever, guys. And this is really unhealthy, particularly for dudes who allow this level of BS to enter their lives, right? Because if you let this kind of stuff slip, gentlemen, I can guarantee you a lot of your interpersonal relationships are going to suffer as a result of just purely the people that you allow into them. Okay, but gentlemen, we are going to be continuing momentarily on to today's next TikTok. And guys, this is a good point in the show. Make sure you leave your comments and your thoughts to some of the things that we are covering on today's episode. So let's continue on to this next one here. And again, on the theme of hookup culture. So let's have a look at this.
Exactly, and as women, the issue's even more exasperated because we're molded in society to be pleasers, to be likable. So when we go out on dates, we're like, we might not even like the person, we just think they're hot, but we want them to like us because we put in so much work. Like I always tell my friends, like, do you even like this person? And it's like 9 times out of 10 they don't because you really don't know the person after one date.
Yeah, it's almost entirely based on physical attraction and validation. Right? It's almost like that's the case. It's almost like you don't care about the people you're seeing. You're just interested in them. For guys, it's so interesting to see this argument go around in 2021, right? That men are the people who are out here going, you know what? Oh, she's beautiful, she's ugly, and guys are really awful for that. Let me tell you something, guys. Girls do that as well. Right? If you're a scrawny little dude and you've got no friends and stuff like that, nobody wants to hang out with you. Oh yeah, girls will judge you for that. Right? Absolutely. 100%. If you're a short dude, yep, you'll get judged for that. If you're a bald dude, yep, you'll get judged for that. Okay, I'm so sick of this hearing this crap like women are the fairer gender, gentlemen, when they are far more discriminatory when it comes to dating preferences. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. Men are much less picky than these girls right here.
You just want them to like you. So yeah, after every date, I always ask myself, like, realistically, would I be friends with this person? And most likely the answer is going to be no. So it's like, you don't really need them in your life continuously. They will just be good for a hookup. And if you actually do like the person, then yeah, that's a no. But you know, if they don't like you back, it's not even worth it. So yeah. Exactly. And as women, the issue's even more exasperated because we're molded in society to be pleasers, to be likable. So
I had to play that beginning part of the video again, guys, because I wanted to get your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you gentlemen think. Are women in 2021 trained to be pleasant? Right? Is that something that happens, guys? Maybe I'm living in a different dimension here because that's certainly not what I see at all. What I see is a lot of these women being trained to have attitudes, to treat people poorly, to think that they're the best thing that has ever walked the earth and that they're entitled to everybody's attention and money. That's what I see. Okay, I don't see this whole stuff where girls are taught to be reserved and quiet and whatever the case may be and stuff like that. I see a lot of, particularly with womanism, guys, I see a lot of loud mouthing, right? And I don't say that to be down-putting or anything like that, guys. It's just like within the first 5 seconds of this video right here that this woman has made, we have just come across some absolute levels of clownery. But I'm going to play this kind of midsection a bit here because there's a few more things to talk about before we continue on to today's Reddit stories.
To be likable. So when we go out on dates, we're like, we might not even like the person. You just think they're hot, but we...
Yeah, it's almost like you go on dates specifically because dudes are attractive, right? It's almost like women are incredibly judgmental when it comes to dating as well. Guys, if you don't believe what I'm saying here as well, I would highly suggest that if ever you have the opportunity, just look at how women swipe through an app like Tinder, guys. Like their yes to no ratio and how quickly they do it and stuff like that, guys. Let me give you a hint. It'll go something like this. No, 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 no. Pause for like half a second. No, 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 yes. That's what it'll go like. Okay? And the reason for that, guys, is because women are incredibly discriminatory when it comes to the people that they date. Okay, so I'm so sick of hearing this like this fair agenda and men are so judgmental and they only date pretty girls and stuff like this, guys. Really is just so out of touch with reality.
We want them to like us because we put in so much work. Like I always tell my friends, like, do you even like this person? And it's like 9 times out of 10 they don't because you really don't know the person after one date.
Yeah, it's almost like, wow, it's almost like women are attracted to dudes who are unpleasant, generally speaking. Isn't that so absolutely crazy, guys, how it's almost like women are going after the bad boys. You know, it's not like bad boys are the most friendly people to walk the planet, and yet you got all these girls swooning over them, and then ironically enough, complaining about the fact that he's not kind to them. It's like if he was kind to you, you wouldn't be as interested. You probably wouldn't be interested at all, right? Because it's an ego thing. You can't sit there and you can't take that one dude who's not going to be interested in you. Everybody has to be interested in you. Everybody has to treat you like you're some fantastic creature. Okay, and if they don't do that, then your ego gets hurt. And in order to repair that ego, you have to go out there and you have to get with a dude, or else you're going to feel crap about yourself. Which, by the way, you're going to feel that way anyway.
You just want them to like you. So yeah, after every date, I always ask myself, like, realistically, would I be friends with this person? And most likely the answer is going to be no. So it's like, you don't really need them in your life continuously.
And you know what? That's what a lot of men are realizing as well, is like, okay, if I'm just going to get chucked to, even if I'm super attractive to these women, right? I'm just going to get chucked to the side eventually. Like they're guys, these women paint such a picture where I don't even need to say anything. Like if you guys just sit and listen to what these girls say on TikTok, a lot of guys will just naturally come to the conclusion that dating isn't worth it. Right? Just absolutely. A lot of guys will come to that conclusion of their own. They won't have seen a video like this, right? And I'm not saying like we got a whole bunch of dudes over here. We've got dudes who are married over here, man. We've got dudes who are not dating. We've got dudes who are dating. I personally don't particularly mind, guys. Like I'm not going to have a go at you for whatever path you choose to walk down. It's just that looking at TikToks like this, guys, it doesn't paint a very pleasant picture, particularly going into the future. I've actually gotten quite a few emails from you gentlemen who are in fact married, saying that, you know what, you got married many years ago and things were different. But in 2021, man, things are looking pretty bleak. But let's continue on to today's Reddit stories, guys, because I have some absolute clownery to show you guys today. So let me just pull up this first one. There's a huge streak of light on my monitor right here, so I just got to shift it. Let's jump into this. Now, I didn't even read the name before I pulled this up, guys. So this woman has literally called herself that particular term. But continuing on to her bio here, guys, it says, "Hello, guys. I'm looking for friends. I'm not looking for friends with benefits. I'm looking for someone to get to know and see where it goes from there. Please don't waste my time, and I won't waste your time. I am looking for a serious relationship." Right? 31 years old, guys. You see that first TikTok that I pulled up of that woman earlier, gentlemen? That's like on the road to this. Okay, and let me just tell you, like, we can't see this woman's face. It's kind of cut off here, even if I were to pull it up a little bit for you guys here. We can't see her face, but I mean, 31 years old, guys, profile looking as if she's heading out to the club, right? What is this? This is a designer bag, I believe. Okay. It's like, you know what? I don't understand who would look at this and go, you know what? This is a fantastic choice of an individual to have a long-term relationship with. I could not imagine having that thought process, guys. That is some absolute craziness. But again, notice this part right here, right? I'm looking for someone to get to know. The implication there, guys, is that the people that this person has dated previously, oh, she didn't bother getting to know them, right? What's the point of getting to know them? That's not why she's there, guys. You see, again, you got to do away with this whole angelic idea that these people will paint of themselves, when in actual fact, they're not going out places to get to know people. They're going out there to, find the dude who's attractive and go from there. Okay, none of this kind of crap. But guys, we're going to be pulling up today's last little Reddit story here. And I do say story because these are actually featured on Reddit. So let's take a look at this one right here. And I might have to remove the screen so we can get a good look at this. But I want to show you the picture first before I jump into the text. So here we have a 40-year-old woman who is on a dating app. This is Tinder. And guys, let me just tell you something. If you're a girl and you're on Tinder at 40 years old and it's not as a result that it's not as a consequence of a marriage ending unwillingly, shall we say, like if the dude is no longer in the picture because maybe he serves or something like that, and he didn't return home, or some a lot of stuff I can't say on YouTube here, guys. But if the marriage, the only reason, and hell, you shouldn't even be on a dating app anyway. Let me just call it 100 right there. But girls who are 40, guys, and they're struggling with dating, it's a huge red flag. Right, and the only time it's really not a red flag is when their relationship ends in an unwilling way. And again, it shouldn't really be a struggle, right? So girls who are 40 on dating apps, guys, is just one of the largest red flags that you will ever see. But let's jump into this woman's bio, and I'm going to have to shift this across so we guys can we can read this together. So let's take a bit of a look. I'm just going to extend this here. So let's have a look at this woman's bio. You must have a clear grasp. You know what you want. You have already enjoyed a lot, or you have already learned from your mistakes. You are at a point of balance. You feel like connecting, having a life partner again, and that lets you be like that and as you are, and let it be as it is. Wow, I didn't realize we were reading a bloody haiku right here. You have a clear grasp that your individualities exist, and in these lie a common world. That's how I think, and you? P.S. I think this is supposed to say, I don't understand photos in only underwear or doing duck face or facing profile and not facing front, or where you can only see his pet more than him. But guys, let's just kind of break down the essential parts of here. She's looking for a dude you've already enjoyed a lot and you've already learned from your mistakes. And it's just so ridiculous to see, guys, how the pictures that these people paint. It's like, you know what, now I've had my fun, I'm ready for a real relationship. But you know what, ladies, that is not how it works anymore. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's show there. As always, make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments, guys. Subscribe if you're new or if you enjoyed the video. And as always, gentlemen, make sure you take care of yourselves. And I'll be seeing you, gentlemen, in the next episode. Peace.